magic dial for January just got cranked up to level 10 because Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles is on its way. And I have to admit, Nat, I am so excited for this game. And I know I say this a lot, but I'm excited.
You're super excited. You're like a 5-year-old on Christmas Eve, you know, super excited for Santa to come.
Nintendo 64.
Anyway, we just got some really good news because not only have they been drip feeding like out all these little trailers about this game, they've been releasing some new info that has me even more excited than ever before.
If that was even possible.
If that, no. Like, I'm already a 10 here, Nat. So yeah, some new info and a lot of stuff that I was not expecting, honestly, to hit.
They have crammed a lot of new features into this game.
The first one that I just want to talk about is honestly one of the biggest ones, and that's crossplay. But we can't even really talk about crossplay without first talking about the fact that the multiplayer it's changed in a big way.
Yes.
So the original Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, obviously you could play as 4 players. Like, that was the part of the thing. You had a caravan of
4
that would set out, and of course you could still play it by yourself.
Yeah.
Which most of us did because the multiplayer in the Gamecube version required you to have, for every extra person, a Game Boy with a Game Boy Link cable.
Yeah, so obviously you needed your 3 friends to come over.
And then you needed them all to have Game Boy and Game Boy Link cables. I never had that, so I've just always played this game single player.
Yep.
Then not only that, now they come out and said, and now you can play online multiplayer, but the big kicker here is that it's cross-played. I'm assuming that it means that PlayStation and Switch owners can now play together.
Part of me wonders, like, is it going to be cross-play with the mobiles as well?
Oh, maybe. I don't know. I don't care. Sorry.
Don't be like that.
Okay. The reason it's such a big deal now is that I was literally just going to buy this on the PS4.
Blasphemy.
Okay, I'm sorry. Like, I was just going to buy it on PS4, to be perfectly honest, because my friends, the ones that I want to play it with, are all on PS4. I mean, that's just the way it works. And so, like, I was just like, all right, well, I'll get on PS4. We all voice chat and play it on there. So yeah, like, I'm going to get to play this with all my friends, and I'm going to be able to buy the Switch version, which is what I wanted, so that I can have a portable version of this, you know? And that's a really big deal to me. I think it's not only important to me, but important to a lot of people
definitely.
who have friends who play on different consoles, you know? We don't all just buy games and play them on the same console.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So next up here, Nat, is voice acting, which I was a bit thrown off by this at first. You know, when it first came up in the trailer, I did notice that when they were casting spells, they all had the characters going, and like, it sounds like a bunch of kids.
That was a perfect representation of what they sounded like.
I actually just pulled that clip straight out of the game, by the way. You know, the characters sound childish, and actually, after listening to it, I think it kind of suits the game.
Yeah, I agree. Just the way they're drawn, the way they look, it does suit them to have those more kiddie voices.
Yeah, and so like when they're casting Bizarga or Curaga or whatever, they're like, Curaga! And they all say it together. It's kind of cute and fun. I like that. And I think it adds like an extra element there. But it seems like it's not just the combat that's getting the voice acting. It seems like that the actual cutscenes from the game, so more of them are going to be having voice acting in them as well.
If we had no crystals, miasma would consume us all, correct?
I'm not sure that I'm in love with the voice acting here. I don't want to judge it off just one. I mean, maybe they'll do a better job, but just it doesn't feel like it matches the character or anything.
I do agree with you. Like, at first, I don't think I really paid much attention, but when you actually pointed out to me, I was like, oh yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah. More they're adding. Challenging dungeons and bosses. So
yeah. So this is good. Make the game a bit longer.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what these actually are, because they said there's extra challenges and bosses, or dungeons and bosses, sorry. But what they showed is just the same levels type thing, but it's almost like a remix version of that level. So like it could just change it to autumn and the boss changes to a different color.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I hope it's more than that though.
I mean, it would be good if it was more than that. I'm not expecting it though, to be perfectly honest. I'm just expecting it just to be a remix and maybe just make them even harder. I'm like, as I said, like I'd love for them to add more moves and more stuff to this, but I just don't expect it.
Okay. Yeah, all right.
Part of a follow-up to this is that they're adding new skins to the characters and new items. And the items are important here because I'm assuming, again, that they're part of maybe these new bosses, or maybe they're just throwing them in there altogether. You know, maybe they're just throwing extra items that you can get throughout the game. But it could also be that when you defeat these bosses, that's where you get the new recipes from and stuff like that.
Yeah, and you also made an interesting point before about the skins. Yes. So when you start the game, you can pick between like what you want your character to look like. So 4 different skins.
So when you start the game, you have like 8 skins. So you have like 4 females and 4 male skins of each class, character type, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And then you'd pick one of them, and that's what you go with. So I'm assuming now that it means that there's like 6 females and 6 male skins that you can actually choose from. It's not actually like, unless they've changed it up completely, and you can now like choose a hairstyle and choose a body style and choose a blah blah style. You know, I don't think it'll be that. I think it'll just be adding a couple of extra class options, looks to choose from at the start there.
Yeah, that makes sense, considering, there's already, a few to choose from at the beginning. It does make sense just to add them to there.
Yeah, exactly. We'll see, though. I guess the last thing here that we'll end on again is that the game is coming on January 23rd, which I just want to reiterate that I'm so glad that they chose to go January next year.
I know. I'm glad that they've kind of left the rest of the year, which is a very, very busy time for gamers. So I'm glad they're like, we're not going to bother about that. Let's just go after.
Like, if more developers need to be saying, all right, let's start to look at maybe December. Let's start to look at January and early next year as options here. Like, instead of just packing the end of this year with more and more and more.
Exactly, I agree. Now, this game, I am a little bit on the fence about, to be honest.
You're on the fence about
I
it?
am on the fence.
What? Nah, don't be silly.
It was just something I couldn't get into.
Yeah, and I honestly, Nat, like, as much as you're like that, I don't feel like you're the only one. You're probably the only one who's made it to the end of this video and it just doesn't love the game, but but I don't feel like you're the only one, because it is actually it wasn't a hugely well-rounded, loved game back in the past.
I don't know what it was for me, because like I actually tried it again a few months ago, so I'm like, all right, let's try it again. I've grown up a bit, I've matured. Maybe my tastes in games have changed.
Maybe.
So I tried it again a few months ago, and I still couldn't get into it.
Yeah, and it's also a very slow start, which I hate giving that excuse on games, because it's just like, well, do better for the start. But it is a slow start to like actually start building into the game to where like it starts to feel a bit more faster paced.
I do agree with you, because I didn't make it past the first area. Like I got most of the way through, and I was just like, can't be bothered with it anymore.
Yeah, like, not to turn this too much into a conversation about the game, but like for me, it did turn very much into, I was younger when I played this game. I had a lot of time, so I didn't mind that time barrier. And the other things that help with this game, like the soundtrack, which like I can't explain how lovely this soundtrack is. It just uses these lovely instruments to kind of create this atmosphere that I hadn't heard from a game anything like this.
Yeah, I must have to admit, when we saw the most recent trailer, it does have a song in it, and it just like grabs you from the start.
It absolutely
makes you
does.
want to watch it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, not only does the game have these beautiful songs, and a lot of the game is just like, it's just quirky, just the music, but it's quirky in a lovely way, not in like a jarring way or anything like that. It's hard to explain, but yeah, I love it, and that maybe that's something that helped me get a little bit further through it. But I will definitely admit that it's hard to really jump head deep into.
Yeah, well, I think I will try it again for a third time. You know what they say, third time lucky.
Third time's the charm.
I love it.
It's hopefully because we'll get to play multiplayer this time too.
Exactly.
Having more people there will help maybe speed up the flow of the gameplay or something like that. We'll see.
Yep.